Hello, thanks for joining me for this RackEmApp video. And in this video, we're going to talk about our latest iteration of our scoreboard that we call Scoreboard 3.0. It is a feature that's currently in beta, and we want to get this out to people so we can attract some feedback, so we can make improvements, so that it can be better for everyone in the future. So why have we got Scoreboard 3.0? Well, the current web scoreboard that's been in place ever since we kind of built RackEmApp has been there for quite some time. It was built very, very early on in the development of the platform. It was built in a way that was quite easy to maintain. But that code has meant that it's not necessarily as scalable or as performant as it could be. So what we've noticed is when we have lots of people and lots of matches underway, the way that the code works is it's not good. It slows everything down. People have a very, very poor user experience. The good thing about the web scoreboard is it is very, very flexible for venues that want to have this installed onto a tablet, whether that's fixed point or not, whether they're mobile tablets that just get brought out for tournaments. It's very, very easy for you just to open a web browser. There's no app to download, and you can use your tablets for multiple different purposes as well. But for individual players, it was a little bit more complicated, having to take a match code and enter it into a web-based system. It's tricky. People don't get it, and ultimately what we want to do is we want to make it easier for end users to submit those scores to allow people to focus less on admin, which is one of our primary goals here at RackEmApp. So what we did was we converted it to the mobile app. So the mobile app that gets used by players and captains also has a scoreboard feature in there that can also be used as for table mode. So for tournaments that you can push matches to and do all the other bits and pieces. The problem is the mobile app version is much harder to maintain, and obviously if you need to make a change, you've got to go through things like app store approvals. You've got to get it out to the devices. It's much harder to kind of fix things quite quickly, and for venues we found it was quite difficult to use. There's lots of cheap tablets out there which pool leagues and organizers want to use to keep score of things. Lots of different operating systems, cut down versions of Android, and if you're not using Google Play, it's very, very difficult for you to do that. But also if you've got a full screen app running and you wanted to use the tablet for other things, there's other complications and things that arise there, so that made it quite tricky. The advantage of the current app scoreboard, of course, though, is that it's in the hands of all the users easily, so they can press a very simple play button on their device and it will open up their matches for them. And I think the other important thing in general with the mobile app, the scalability and the performance is much better. What this means is that you can get more people using the same system without impacting the user experience. So what we've set out to do is build this Scoreboard 3.0, which takes the best of all of those different avenues. We want to make it easy to maintain so we can get new features, we can get fixes, we can make it perform faster, we can get it out to you more quickly. We wanted to keep it flexible for venues. We wanted to make sure that it's still easy for individual players and make sure that scalability and performance is there. And above everything else, we also wanted to bring some new features to the table, and we're going to talk about those features in this video. So as we set about coming to do this, there were a few key aims that we wanted to do when we produced this new scoreboard. Number one is make it more than just a tournament scoreboard. I think there are lots of competitors out there which will just allow you to run your scoreboard for your competition. There's also scoreboards out there that will just run a standalone scoreboard. But what I wanted to do is be able to do, okay, well, what if we brought both of them together? And what if we integrated it with our table scheduling system or the tournament scheduling system, so you can see which matches are due on the table at any given point in time? And that's the value add that we wanted to give to venues. Wouldn't it be great if your tablet could be permanently affixed next to your table? That tablet can then be sat in table mode. You can push matches to it for your tournaments. If they're redundant, if the tables aren't being used, a user can press a button that says, I want to use this as a scoreboard, and it just comes up with an ordinary scoreboard. So you do away with the plastic scoreboards that you might want to keep by tables, and it just allows you to keep track of score, and we're going to show that in this video as well. And most importantly, we also wanted to keep it easy for pool league members to submit their own tournament scores. So, this is going to integrate tightly in with the mobile application, so that when you are in the mobile app, you can press a button and it will still pop this open, have the same great user experience that you get from within the mobile app there. So with that, I want to get into a bit of a demo. Okay, to get started here, just to explain how I've got this set up, on the left-hand side, I've obviously got the the tournament or competition management side of things, and this is just so that we can do various things with the scoreboard, which is on the right hand side. The scoreboard lives on scoreboard.rackemap.com, and when you visit it, it will basically give you this screen. And what this screen allows you to do is enter either a match or a table code. Now this works in the same way as the current web scoreboard works. If you enter a match code, it will allow you to just use this for this match, and when that match is completed, it will return it back to this screen. So if I get a match code from here and then press access scoreboard, what you'll see is I get the scoreboard for this match. I can indicate who won the lag. It indicates who the breaker is by the cue ball that appears at the top of the scoreboard there, and you just complete this as you go. Obviously, if it's a win of a frame by a break dish or a reverse dish, you press win dish, and that sets that statistic accordingly. When it eventually reaches the threshold for the win, this is a race to 5 as it indicates at the top. You get the ability to complete the match, and that match returns you back to this particular scoreboard here. So that's how it works when you're doing a standalone match from a match code. Now, the other option you've got available here is you can enter in a table code. So I've got some matches here scheduled for Andover Golf Club. I'm just going to grab the table code for Andover Golf Club, paste it in there, and it comes up with this holding screen. Now this holding screen is here to allow you to keep your tablets running at all times. Now when it's in table mode, if you try and exit table mode, it will ask you for a password. The password, just for your information, is the table code that appears on here. What you can do is you've got two options here. Firstly, on the right hand side, you can see it's now showing a schedule. So the schedule is based upon the match times that you've got here. But what it will also do is it will also show any bookings that you're using with our integrated table booking system. So if you need some more information on the table booking system where your players can book tables in your venue and optionally pay for those tables in advance, please do get in touch with us. But whilst you're on this holding screen, you can also enter a match code. And when you enter the match code from here and complete the match, it returns you back to this holding screen. So you don't need to worry about it going back to having to enter the table code again. Once you're in table mode, it's always going to return you back to this screen here. Now, this button was also available on the landing page, but it's a little bit more relevant as a venue here, because if you've not got a match scheduled and you don't have anything scheduled for a tournament, you may have people that are turning up in your venue that just want to keep score of their match. Well, in this example, you can use the tablet, keep it on your screen, and if they press this button here, they've got the ability to just run a very basic scoreboard. If they wanted to put their names on it, they can enter their names. And I can tap player 2, and let's go with my opponent's name. And then here I could just use these very, very simple buttons to change the score. If I were to try and exit the scoreboard, it then takes me back to the holding screen. So if I go back to my standalone match, it's now reset everything back because there's effectively a new match there. You'll also see there's a full screen button. So once you get into here, you can enter full screen mode. What that then does, of course, is it means that the users can't use anything else other than your the scoreboard software. So if you then try and exit full screen mode, again, as a kind of a protectionism to stop players from misusing the tablets, you can enter the password. Again, the password is the table code, and it will return you back to your scoreboard here. The other thing of note, just while we're talking about these buttons at the top, is we've got this settings button. And what this settings button will do is allow you to enter something called dark mode. So if you're not happy with the red and the blue, using the dark mode will put it into a kind of a black and white screen. What this does is this background image is configurable in your organization settings as your scoreboard background, and it will apply a nice dark overlay over whatever image you upload there, just to give you a little bit of customization that you might want to see there. If you want to exit dark mode, of course, just exit dark mode. But ultimately, the way most people tend to use this web scoreboard is when you're pushing matches to it for tournament purposes. So, similarly to exactly how it used to work before in the old web scoreboard, and also the mobile app, I should say, is when you go and push your match to the table, The scoreboard's there and it's waiting for that match to appear. Now, when the match is there, it shows you the players, the time. It's got the start match button. It will show you the table name. The other thing that's on this screen as well, just because I didn't mention it before, is if you have a table sponsor, then it will show the table sponsor logo here as well, just so that you're kind of aware of that. If you press the start match button, then it pulls all the information down, and because this is linked to a tournament, this will also drive all of your live scoring. So if I press that this player has won the lag and go into the live scoring over here, you can see here that this match is now underway, and as I set the winners, the live scoring page gets updated as we go. Come back to the tournament management. So it will always override whatever match is here. So if you push a new match to the scoreboard, it will refresh it and it'll take you back to the new match, and pressing start match will allow you to start that match as opposed to anything else that you've got there. Trying to exit the scoreboard again, you need to enter the password to close the scoreboard. So if they wanted to return back, they need to either complete the match, because you've pushed the match to the tablet. You don't want them to have the ability to just exit the match if they don't want to, and then you can just enter the password to close the scoreboard and return back out of here if you need to. So again, on the landing screen, you've got the standalone scoreboard button here, so you can always get back to that too. And again, users can use this at any time. So even if you just wanted a kind of a lightweight scoreboard for you to run, you can visit scoreboard.rackemap.com, and you can quickly spin up a scoreboard that you can use for any particular purpose that you've got there. It should also note that this does support team matches. It also supports sets matches. Everything else that RackEmApp supports is all present and correct within this new web scoreboard. Hopefully that tells you lots more about the scoreboard. Like I said, it is still in beta at the moment. We want to get some feedback. We want to hear what works, what doesn't, but hopefully it gives you some insight into where we're going and how we want to continue to improve and iterate our platform. You can access the scoreboard now at scoreboard.rackemap.com. It's available on any device. It uses some fairly simple technology, so ultimately you should be able to run that on any device that can run your web browser, and just use your existing match and table codes. It works alongside it. You don't have to use one or the other. You can do both. So you can have some tables using the old scoreboard, you can have some tables using the new scoreboard. You could just test it one-off. You can test it however you want. It's not going to impact your existing tournaments in the slightest. At the moment, it's just another way of recording scores into the system. Thanks for your time. Let us know if you have any feedback.